Hi friends, welcome, Rangarajan here. So this is a very short video for all of our candidates, our Officers IAS Academy candidates who are writing the mains exam, for the mains crash course candidates who have enrolled and who are taking the tests. Based on the evaluation of the test, based on the review of the test, I have also spoken to many of you, our faculties have spoken to many of you. So based on the evaluation thus far, because you have been writing tests for the past 1.5 months, I wanted to one more time reiterate what is the approach to write GS, what is the approach to write optional, what is the approach to write essay briefly, right? And for those of you who are watching it for the first time outside of our academy and the mains crash course system, I hope you get good inputs out of this, and you can also take our free full mock test towards the end of December. So first, general studies, paper 1 to paper 3, right? Paper 4 ethics, the case studies, you will have to give options and you will have to choose the option. So there is a style of writing which has been discussed in detail by Israel Jabasingh sir, and you would have seen that video. So I am not going into that. But for 1 to 3 and also for the questions which are asked in the ethics paper. For case studies, you have a different approach of listing down the various options and then choosing the best option and why you chose that option. But for other questions there, and more importantly for GS 1 to 3, write with subheadings, very, very important. The subheadings can be, if possible, in capital letters. Otherwise also write in subheadings and underline them clearly. Introduction and conclusion is important. So you can start with the direct introduction of lines. In the conclusion, you may want to conclude it. If you write conclusion also and underline it and give the conclusion, that is also okay. Write in simple sentences. I will give you the example based on the evaluation. What is the issue and how you need to correct it. Write in simple sentences and number them uniformly as 1, 2, 3, right? Don't please put like this, put like this, put like this. All that doesn't look nice on paper. Just simple, like how we used to do in school, isn't it? Because now we are used to computers, we are drawing the same bullet which we see in the computer presentation. Not required. 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C. Don't underline too much. Some people have this craze for underlining. The entire sheet is underlined. Not required. Please guys, UPSC will read each and every answer. The structuring is important to show that you have understood the question and answered according to it. It increases the appeal and the presentation. That's all. You don't have to box. Don't box letters. I'll definitely advise not to put box on important terms, because then the entire sheet, some 10 words if you box also, it will look like there are some words which are boxed. Not required at all. Some keywords, the thumb rule is that in one sheet when you are writing, if there are 2 subheadings, both the subheadings will be clearly underlined, and apart from that 3 or 4 or 5 important keywords if you underline, just for catching the attention of the examiner. But don't worry, UPSC will read the entire answers thoroughly and only then give you marks. So don't underline too much, only subheadings and a few keywords. Flowcharts and diagrams to be used where possible, especially in 15 mark questions. See, in GS, you have first 10 questions which are 10 mark, and then you have second 10 questions which are 15 mark, right? So try and write 1.5 sides of around 130 to 135 words for a 10 mark question. Try and write 2/4 sides to maximum 2.5 sides of around 220 to 225 words for a 15 mark question. Only then you will be able to complete the paper. And here also in the 15 mark question, there are 10 questions. So let's say every alternate question, you use a simple flow chart or a diagram, because this will help in increasing the appeal, and it will also save time. This saves time and also increases the impression to some extent. But 10 mark questions, very sparingly you may use, otherwise because it's only 1.5 sides, you may just use 2 subheadings and write it. So don't write in bullet points. I am just taking the same example and I am going to explain to you how not to write and how to write. For example, impact, and I am taking this as a common example which everyone will be able to understand, because optional, each subject is different. So I am just taking the same base. Impact of liberalized era on Indian economy. If this is a subheading, don't write like this. Increased private sector investment, growth of service sector 70% of GDP, increased FDI in India. This is like presentation and not writing an answer. You are expected to write answers. How do you write? Write in simple sentences. in GS resulted in increased private sector investment as various sectors opened up for private players or private investment. It also led to the growth of service sector, which now contributes to 70% of the GDP. Increased FDI in India and also presence of Indian companies globally. Example, software companies, telecom companies, automobiles, etc. You understand? So this is the way to write and not this. This is like presentation. So guys, people score 80 marks when their content is good, but people score 105 marks in GS when the content is the same. Why? Because these are small things. Structure it, subheading, write in simple sentences. You don't have to write big paragraphs in GS, but write in simple sentences, but complete the sentence. It can be a truncated sentence, but bring out why you are saying what you are saying, right? And this is the example for that. And in optional, you are expected to write with little more expertise than GS, because GS is general studies, but optional, you are not a PhD, but you are expected to have the expertise of a master's candidate in optional. So write in detailed sentences. You can still number them as 1, 2, 3 ABC, but slightly more detailed sentences. Structuring of introduction, subheadings, conclusion can be followed. Try and use flowcharts and simple diagrams, especially in the 3 20-mark questions that you will be writing and the 6 15-mark questions that you will be writing, because it saves time and increases presentation. For 10-mark short notes, because you will be writing 10 short notes, don't draw too many diagrams, because it should not look like a drawing competition also. So try and write short notes same way, 1.5 sides. This is what I said as a thumb rule. For 10 marks, 1.5 pages, which is around 135 words. For 15 marks, 2.25 page, or to some extent 2.5 pages, which is 200 to 225 words, right? And for 20-mark question, about 3.25 page, which could be about 250 to 275 words. Try and practice this. See, because within 3 hours, you'll have to complete 20 questions in GS, you'll have to complete 19 questions in optionals, and more or less the same proportion. 50% of the paper is 10 marks, be it in GS or be it in optional, and 50% of the paper is 15 marks in GS and 15 and 20 marks in optional. So the overall time management is the same, but the way you write them, take the example, same example, you are required to write in slightly more expert manner. So you elaborate on the point little more. You can always club the points. See, this is what I said here. You can club points in sentences to save time and space. So it's not that if you write only 5 points, you will get 5 marks. Even if you write 3 points and those 3 points are in detailed sentences, you will still get that 5 marks. So don't think that number of points proportional, direct proportion to the number of marks. It's not like that, isn't it? So write in slightly more detailed sentences in the optional. The LPG era resulted in increased private sector investment in various sectors such as telecom, airlines, heavy industries, mining, etc., which were opened up for private players. As we leapfrog from agriculture economy directly to a service economy, it also led to the growth of service sector, which now contributes to around 70% of GDP. It also increased FDI in India and also presence of Indian companies globally in various sectors like software, telecom, automobiles, etc. So guys, how you should not write, even in GS, just bullet points, not advisable. In GS, simple 1 line or 1.5 line sentences, right? In optional, elaborate on it a bit more, right? Because you should try and write, and I took the same example because if I give anthropology example, candidates from sociology may understand, but candidates from history or economics or public administration will not be able to appreciate, right? So that is the reason why I have chosen the same example, and I am telling you how you should approach. In GS, simple sentences, in optional also simple sentences, but detailed sentences, which brings out your expert knowledge in that subject. Is that clear, guys? And now essay writing, quickly, I have already discussed this in the detailed class in mains crash course. For outside candidates, I hope this PPT will help you understand content, language and presentation. These are the 3 key areas based on which your 125 marks is awarded. You should write in proper paragraphs of around 80 to 90 words each, and that means you write around 12 to 15 paragraphs in the essay. Content, I am just listing them down. You would have read, you would have listened to my own lectures, many other lectures, so I am not going to elaborate on it. Focus on the topic, adequate coverage, argument should be coherent, analytical and critical approach, language, grammatically correct language, lucid and clear expression, punctuate properly, right? I have seen many of the candidates who have written essay. Your full stop is not at all visible. You start a new sentence with a small letter. No, a full stop should be visible. A new sentence should begin with a capital letter. There should be a space between the full stop and the new sentence beginning, right? These are simple things, but ensure that you follow it properly, right? Logical development of ideas, entire essay must be connected, so there must be a linkage, there must be transitional expression and connectivity from one paragraph to another. Structure should have a beginning, so a beginning can be an anecdote or a quote, first paragraph or 1 or 2 paragraphs, then about 8 to 9 paragraphs for the body of the essay, and then the conclusion again 1 or 2 paragraphs. And you can give subheadings in essay also, but not too many subheadings, just 3 or 4 important subheadings on how are the angles, what are the angles from which you are analyzing the topic, right? So, originality of expression, quotes and statistics, be very clear, they will be checked, so don't give quotes or statistics unless you are sure about it, and overall effectiveness of the essay. Definitely prepare a rough work for the essay, that is looked at by the examiners in UPSC, and if your rough work is neat and if you have transformed all the points from the rough work to the essay, that is also valued as part of the content for giving marks. So, don't scribble something in the rough work. Try and keep it as neat as possible. Of course, you will strike and you may overwrite in the content in the rough work because you are thinking about it. But try and keep it as clean as possible. Don't keep it cluttered, keep it in an organized manner, and then bring all the important points from the rough work to the main essay. And stick to word limit, because if you exceed the word limit or if you write less than 950 words, there is negative marking even for that. So, minimum 950 words, maximum 1250 words. The golden mean, right, as Aristotle said, somewhere around 1100 words you try and write. Yes, and very important, because see, we are used to writing, you know, in colleges maybe, again most of you are engineers, so you are not used to writing a lot of literature work, right, but essay is a proper essay which you have been writing in schools. It is not something, some rocket science or something very, very difficult, but we have lost touch with it. So, that is the important reason why I told you punctuate properly, keep your full stop properly, start a new sentence with a capital letter, write in proper paragraphs, and I am giving you a simple example, and I have reviewed so many essays of our mains candidates and I have given them feedback also. This is one common problem I find, long sentences. Look at this sentence, and this is from one of the candidates who had written, I have taken the liberty to show it, right. Moreover, along with the governor, the constitution provided for a strong center such as emergency provisions, which was dark period in Indian democracy. Article 356, which according to Dr. Ambedkar would be least used among the constitution, was vehemently used to settle political scores. Now, his content is that, look, this is a topic which was given on federalism, like whether strong union is an anathema to strong federation. So, you are trying to bring out an argument that our constitution does have certain unitary features as part of your essay, but everything in one long sentences, which, why, therefore, comma, the same thing I have written, again reworded it. The constitution provided for a strong union by enabling it to declare emergency for the entire nation during war, external aggression or internal disturbance at that point of time. Now it is armed rebellion, full stop. This was used during 1976, which is considered the darkest period in Indian democracy, full stop. Moreover, it also provided for imposition of president rule under Article 356, full stop. While Dr. Ambedkar believed that it would be sparingly used, it was used vehemently to settle political scores, full stop. So, the same content, you will have to write it in sentences as part of the paragraph, right. So, don't write long winding sentences. Don't put comma, which, therefore, but, put a full stop, start it as a new sentence and write it. Is that clear, guys? So, these are some important feedback I wanted to give to all our candidates who are writing the mains, and also for the people from outside our academy system who are watching this. I hope you found these tips useful. Our candidates will continue to write all the tests. So, please all of you write all the tests. We are very passionate about evaluating it and giving you feedback so that you can crack it and get selected for the interview. And for the outsiders, when I say outsiders, every civil service aspirant, we consider it as our family, but I am saying outside the system of the present Officers IAS Academy mains crash course. If you watch this video and you found this useful and you want to get yourself evaluated, you can take our free mock test, right. You can enroll and get your answer scripts evaluated. It will be, essay test is on December 21st and December 31st, 9 AM to 12 PM. GS papers, I am giving you the schedule now, and we'll also have Indian language test for practiced, right? And this is the full test, December 19th and 20th. 21st is the essay, and then 22nd is, I think, the Indian language. Similarly, December 29th and 30th is the GS 1, 2, 3, 4. December 31st is the essay, and followed by the Indian language, morning and evening, right. So, the morning paper will be 9 to 12, afternoon paper will be 2 to 5. Yeah, so I hope you found this useful. So, put this into practice, all our candidates, while writing the test starting from tomorrow itself. And for people who have watched it for the first time, please, you will get a link in our Academy YouTube channel itself, through which you can enroll, yeah, and write these free mock tests. Thank you, all the very best.